Okay, let's have another game this afternoon. The outlook for the weekend, it's sunny apparently, so looking forward to that. Another IM 2184 Alkhateeb. Let's try the Morra Smith gambit for a change. So as accepted the gambit, I'll add some spice to it now, I think, with an early f4. So this makes it very unusual. Hopefully out of the opponent's book knowledge now, out of stem games. Will that induce a panic that there's no stem games available? If I play e5, I've got knight e4 potentially. I'll go for that. Also protects f2. Also anticipates b4, so if I can get knight e4. But then I suppose, that's annoying. But the pawn wedge could be dangerous, so as we've seen from previous games, so I'll maybe just try and castle queenside here, if I can. In fact, knight takes b5. In fact, or even queen takes b5. Queen takes b5 avoids an annoying pin. So I might go for that actually. Then bishop f2, hang on. Knight b5, bishop a6, a4. Okay, what's the matter with that? At least I'm eyeing that d6 square, but there's a4 here. a4, bishop c4, queen b2, bishop c3, bishop b4, knight d6. So if the bishop takes, then bishop takes queen. So I don't know, it's a bit unclear, as they say in Informator. By the way, what do you think of Informator? Are you one of the players, are you a serious enough player to collect informators, and what do you think of, the annotation notes, the informator symbols? Is it just a case of anonymous assessments and vague assessments, so there's nothing really committal being said? What do you think about that? Okay, bishop c4 here, and then I'll have bishop c3 potentially, and also it backfires against that pin a little bit, so maybe this is useful, this bishop c4. Well, I hope it's useful. Okay, I've got knight c7 if I need it, just to win bishop on a6. Or knight d6, maybe. I don't know, I think knight c7 is probably better to get that light squared bishop. Gets the queen off that horrible diagonal for a bit. A little bit of respite. But it's going to go back, I suppose. Queen b6. I got rook c1, queen b6. Just targeting bishop on c5 to return the favour. But then rook a6, rook c5, queen c5, queen a6. I don't know. The a pawn will be vulnerable in that line. What's the alternative? Okay, I think I should, I don't know, play rook c1 anyway. Try and get that. Okay. Now I wonder. Bishop c4. Yeah, if I can get in b3, maybe, to make this. Actually, knight d5 was a strong square for the knight, so I'm glad I played bishop c4. Okay, how do I sort out the king safety issue? Bishop c3 sorts out b2 at least, but my king remains trapped in the centre for the moment. So, I wonder, maybe g3 with the idea of king f1 to g2, if I can get away with it. King making a run for it, connecting my rooks. Connecting rooks is a priority, I think, in most openings. Once the rook's connected, then you can start doubling them up for other strategic purposes. Okay, so I wonder, bishop b5 here, is that interesting to play bishop b5? It does attack the d7 pawn, so in a way it might gain a tempo if the opponent's bothered to do something about d7. I think d6 is not that attractive still, because it would open up actually that bishop on the diagonal as well as weak in e6. Oh dear. Okay. Can I get away with bishop d7, rook c7, bishop a4, just to be totally materialistic for a change? I'm thinking about it. I think I'll go for it. I think the opponent's been a bit too blasé about this. Unless knight e3 is going to be crushing, or knight c3. I think there's definitely an element of bluff in all this. Often the case, in fact, in Blitz. So I can play bishop takes a4 now, just in case that pawn is useful there. And now actually queen b5 might be useful. Bishop f2, king f1. Yeah, maybe queen b5. Okay, king f1 though. I think it would be really nice if I can get in king g2, but am I going to get slaughtered in the process? Thankfully the knight, I don't know, it seems to be doing a grand job at the moment. Can I just do rook e1, and if bishop d2, then rook d1. Okay, connect the rooks at least. So now the light squared bishop's quite kind of useful, holding up c2. So do I want to play, I don't know, rook d1 at some point here, rook d1. Rook d1 has got rook d6, and I can get the other rook working. Okay, the bishop hasn't got that many squares though here. What about queen b5? And if queen b2, rook e2, or even king h3, queen b5. So queen b2, king h3. King seems quite kind of cosy there, considering the circumstances. Not mated for a while, I hope. So if actually queen b2, rook e2, maybe there's rook under d2. Ah, it's tying me down to stop that lovely king h3. And also sacking the knight, because there's rook d2 coming up. So what about rook e2 here? That might stop rook d2, bishop d2 attacking f3. But it might be the first stage in reducing counterplay. Okay, rook e2. Okay, or even, I don't know, if rook d2, rook e1, bishop moves, oh no, there isn't rook takes queen, it's all getting a bit messy. I've got queen e8, I've got queen e8 if rook d2 mating. So that's why he's had to play that. Can I just do queen c5 here and just simplify now? I'm not sure he'll like this simplification that much. Surely I'm just the exchange up. I think this has backfired. He's below on time. Is the exchange down? I've got rook d7 as well. If knight c4, then bishop b3. So that looks pretty crushing. Targeting e6, rook on the 7th. I'm getting a lot of positional trump cards now. It's a very solid position. I can't see the counterplay. Okay, g4. Okay, can I just play h3 just to maintain the pawn chain, just in case? I don't see what's wrong with just taking on g5 now, to be honest. How is he going to undermine e5? I mean, okay, I'll just take. Looks pretty solid to me. Yep. Okay, that was a nice win for a change. Smith-Morra gambit. So I think there has been a video on the Morra-Smith, but I'm playing it with an early f4. This is less theoretical, and I used to have good results in Bullet with this system, so it's a bit of a surprise. I suppose one of the surprises is that White's not casting kingside very easily, so maybe this is why it's not that popular to play f4. On the other hand, there's some other cards here, like the d6 strategic cards, like so he just blundered that pawn, and basically this knight c7 got me the light squared bishop, so that was nice. Then I was kind of not that weak on the queen side, and my king was almost, evacuating It was tied down here, but he just wanted rook d2, didn't he? Otherwise, so that's probably, you know, queen e8 would be mate if rook d2. So this was a mistake, just to try and get the queen off the diagonal. Queen takes c5, and lost the awakening. And I think the rest is just, I don't know, was easy after that. Hope you enjoyed that. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.